Good morning. I'm David Thomas, KM4NYI, and the section manager for the ARRL in Tennessee. Sorry I couldn't be there in person today. I would really like to see everybody, but unfortunately today's meeting was on the same Saturday as the Hamfest in Sevierville. And as everybody knows, everything's been canceled this year pretty much. And so there was no way I could get out of being at the Hamfest, but I want to thank Ed Hutchins for inviting me to speak. Really wanted to get to Middle Tennessee earlier in the year, along with our Section Emergency Coordinator, Jim Snyder, and ASCC, Jeff Stanifer, and David Wolf in Middle Tennessee, and have a meeting with all the county ECs in the middle part of the state, but because of the virus, we've been unable to do that. I took office in January, and things have been very busy since then. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic came in and threw us all for a loop and slowed down a lot of our plans. However, there's still been a lot of work that's been going on. I guess first off with Aries is Jim Snyder. AJ4NO here in Knoxville is our section emergency coordinator. We had been without one for a while. And I had said early on that I was going to have to fill that position, that there was no way I could do that and be section manager and do either job justice. So Jim has done a great job so far. We've added a lot of other positions, a few more assistant section managers to better cover the middle and western ends of the state since I'm over here in the east. The section cabinet positions such as ASMs are new. We have two affiliated club coordinators now, one to cover the western half, one for the eastern half, and technical specialists. A lot of those guys have been appointed in specific areas. Somebody specifically for DMR and for repeater administration and DX and contesting and card checking and things of that nature. Still looking to fill a few more of those positions. A lot of the county EC positions that were vacant and had been for a while have now been filled. And our goal before the viral pandemic came anyway, was to get an emergency coordinator in every county across the state of Tennessee. And we've came close to doing that. We still do have a few vacant positions, and some of the counties don't have active areas groups, and so we're trying to find DCs for those counties to get a group started. Areas numbers seem to be picking up in Tennessee, along with league membership in the state of Tennessee. I was just looking the other day, as of the end of August, league membership in the 12-month period, August 19 to August 20, is up almost 5% in Tennessee section to a total of 3,495 ARRL members in Tennessee, so that's always good. But really, today, I'm glad to speak to the people over in Williamson County because I look at what your areas group is doing in your county, and that's an example for other areas groups all across the state. You guys are active, regularly scheduled training, focus on the task book. Williamson County has a great relationship with served agencies. You have capable leadership, obviously dedicated to the ARRL program. Look at your website, the calendar of events that is going on, monthly meetings where, it's not just social, it's learning. And that's a priority. And then the online recordings. I've got to watch some of the Williamson County meetings online after the meetings were over. And I think that's you guys are doing a great job. And that's an example that other areas groups in Tennessee can definitely look up to and strive to be. But there are a few things that have changed recently that I wanted to kind of speak about today. First off, the emergency plan for Tennessee areas has been updated. And Dan O'Donovan was assistant SCC for special projects, and that was one of the big items he had on his plate. Dan has left Tennessee. Him and his wife have now moved to Hilton Head, South Carolina, so he's not in Tennessee areas anymore. But before he left, he did finish an update of the section emergency plan, and that's available online on the ARRL's website and TennesseeARRLs.com. You can go there and check out that. Keep in mind that is a work in progress, and I thought it looked pretty good compared to the one that we had. The one we had was great. It just needed to be updated with a few changes. And then I've recently looked over some of the ones for like the Louisiana section and some other states, and realized that we still need to do some more work on that. But the updated version is available online. A lot of questions have been coming up recently about Connect. And so I did want to touch on that this morning also. As you know, we appointed an assistant SCC, Rebecca Byers, here in East Tennessee, who worked with Connect, studied, got together some training material, and has kind of been our Connect guru for Tennessee ARRLs. And we've had several counties that have tried it. And what we found out that despite the improvements that have been made to the Connect system over the last year or so, it still has issues. No matter what, it is not a user-friendly system. And we have had several groups that have tried their best to use it, and they have put forth a good effort to try to learn it and to give it a go. And it doesn't seem to work out. We have a couple of various groups in Tennessee that are using it now that like it. The rest have pretty much said the same thing. In their situation, it just doesn't do the trick. So the decision has been made with Connect that it is strictly voluntary. If an ARRLs group wants to use Connect, that's fine. They're more than welcome to, but we are not going to push anybody to use that system. Nobody's going to be forced to use it or even encouraged to use it. So if you want to do things with a different system or report the numbers the way they have been, that's fine. We're not going to push that, and we really don't know down the road if Connect, how much longer Connect is going to be around in its current version. As many of you probably know, the ARRL has hired a director of emergency management, Paul Gilbert, who is actually a section manager over in Texas. Paul has a long career in emergency communications, and I have spoken with him about Connect, and he feels the same way I do, that one or two things need to happen. Either a lot of work needs to be done with Connect, or we need to be looking at a different system. So since things are kind of up in the air with the future of Connect right now, we're going to hold off on moving anybody in that direction. However, I'm glad that we did try it, because now we have reached a conclusion with Connect that is based on fact. And, we've tried it. We gave it our best shot. And it just doesn't seem to be everything. It doesn't live up to the promise the hype, I guess, that it was built up to have. So we're not going to have to focus on that. There's also right now some work on the task books. And as you know, that again is like a lot of other things. It's a work in progress and always subject to change. And one of the big things right now with the task book that was decided just recently was to get who signs off on the task book. If a county EC is the one who signs off on a task book, and they are signing off for portions of the book that they themselves have not completed, and we really didn't find a problem with that, because people pretty much show evidence of completing that, so that's not a problem. But one of the questions that we have had that have came up recently about the task book is the fact that not everybody wants to be a level 3. Not everybody wants to go through and complete all the training that's available. And so the question has been made, what is somebody capable of doing and volunteering for if they complete level 1 or if they complete level 2 or they, what ICS classes have they done? So one of our assistant SCCs, Father Ortiz, has taken on the project of formulating a matrix where you can go in and look and say, okay, level 1 really, that's the basic that everybody, if you're in Aries, really needs to complete level 1. But what this matrix is going to do is give a list of items. And if you want to do this, here's the level of training that you need to be at. Of course, that will vary some because the task book is always adaptable to local situations. And what one county emergency office might want is going to be different in another county and in another part of the state. So that is always adaptable. The task book is a very fluid thing. But hopefully with the matrix, we'll be able to show, kind of how much training, what level people need to be at depending on what they want to do. Because let's face it, if somebody has completed the first part and they are at level 1, they have enough training to be able to assist in some events, but they're probably not going to be asked to come into the EOC in most of the counties in Tennessee unless they have some more training for that. So hopefully the matrix will help people to be able to look at the task book and figure out what they want to do, and that will tell them how far they need to go with their training. We've also worked a lot on improving our relationships with served agencies, and that is something not only at the state level, but also the county level. And I know in Williamson County, your areas group is very, very fortunate. You have good relationships with all your county and local agencies, and unfortunately it's not that way everywhere, but a lot of VCs have been working hard on that. And at the state level with TEMA, our 2 Middle Tennessee assistant SCCs, we have Jeff Standifer, and then the assistant SCC for public services, David Wolf. And both of them have been working together with TEMA officials to improve the interoperability between TEMA and ARRL, which is a very good thing. And we have worked very hard with that. Jim Snyder, our SCC, and I have met with the director of TEMA and basically sat down with them and said, what do you need from us? They are a served agency, and as such, we take our cue from them. And so it seems like the relationships that ARRL has going forward with our state Emergency Management Association have definitely got off to a good start, and hope to see some things improve there. I know David Wolf and Jeff Standifer are both highly capable and very well thought of by TEMA leadership. So been very happy with the direction that we've moved in there. Because after all, strengthening the relationships that ARRL has with served agencies has to be a priority among ARRL, not only at every county level in this section, but also at the state level. And outside of ARRL, the big thing right now that I've been getting a lot of phone calls about and emails has been the proposed FCC licensing fees. And we just had a Zoom call tonight with the section cabinet on that. And Ingrid Close, our state government liaison, spoke about that. And one of the things that we're going to start get on the website here pretty soon to provide some guidance for is public comment with the FCC. And I don't know how many of you have read up much on this, but the legislation was passed in 2018, and it did not deal specifically with amateur radio. I believe it's the Ray Baum Act was the name of it. It was a huge piece of legislation that dealt with everything from television and radio broadcasters to emergency 911 and rural broadband services, internet, cell phone companies, everything to do with the FCC seems like was touched by that act. But one of the things that was in the act that was passed in 2018 said that the FCC was instructed to reassess the fee schedule for licenses and to base that fee schedule on the actual cost of processing the license. So the FCC was ordered to do that by this legislation. So they have, and the result of that is that a lot of licenses from the FCC are going to be less expensive. Some are going to be more expensive. But everybody looks like is going to have to pay something, that there's not going to be a free ride anymore. Unfortunately, amateur radio operators, we've been fortunate and we've enjoyed that free ride for a while. And so the proposal, and this is not set in stone, this is just the proposal right now, is that the license fee is $50 for amateur radio. We do have an opportunity to possibly make some changes to that. The period for public comment is open, and so I highly encourage anybody that's concerned with the licensing fees to go online to the FCC website and file a public comment about this. There's going to be some instructions come up soon on the tnarrl.org website from Ingrid Close about how to do this, along with some suggested verbiage on what to say. One of the things that I did note in reading some of the public comments, some people had just went in and made the comment that, you know, I don't want to pay. I pay taxes and I don't want to pay for an FCC license. And I want to suggest that that's probably not a helpful comment, and that's probably not going to help us get to where we want to be. And when you go to the FCC website to make a comment, I would suggest that we focus on three things with the FCC, and keep in mind that the fact is we're going to end up paying something for a license. I think the days of the free ride are over, but we do have an opportunity with the public comment section of this proposal to have an impact on the amount of the licenses, because the $50 maximum is their current proposal. So if they receive enough comments, perhaps that amount might be reduced. So what the section cabinet has decided is that we try to focus on three things with the comments for the FCC. And number one being the fact that amateur radio does provide a valuable public service in emergency communications. Nobody knows that any better than the people that are watching this video this morning. As an ARRL member, you have invested your own money and your own funds in radio equipment. You have invested untold hours of time in training, all to put your safety and health and well-being on the line to serve your community in the event of an emergency. Therefore, the cost of the license should be a smaller amount, hopefully less than $50. You know, you've invested time, you've invested money into emergency amateur services, and that is a valuable public service that the government does not have to pay for, the commission does not have to pay for, and it serves the public safety and welfare. That is a good point to make in your FCC comment. A second point would be the fact that the processing cost for amateur licenses cannot be very expensive for the FCC because it's mostly automated. The FCC does not have to give the licensing exams. They don't have to process all that paperwork. It's all done online. It's all done on the computer. The VE teams take on the lion's share of the work for that. Excuse me. So therefore, the $50 fee hopefully would be reduced. And then the third point that we believe would be a good idea to make in the public comment section is that hopefully the FCC could see fit to waive that fee for people who are 18 years old or younger. One of the things that was brought up about that was, we have a lot of children who get into amateur radio through the scouting program. And I know here in East Tennessee, we have a VE team that goes to a couple of the local Boy Scout camps every summer. And they spend a day in a training class with these Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts to bring them up to speed, and then they test them and get their technician licenses. The $50 fee for these children to get a license is that's a different story. For most of us, the $50 fee is not going to break us. We're going to pay it, and we're going to go on. It's good for 10 years. That breaks down to $5 a year. I pay that much for a hunting license, a fishing license, driver's license. Everything costs more than the $5 a year that breaks down to be after 10 years. But for children, it's a little bit different. They're going to have to go to their parents to ask for that $50 fee. So that is definitely a burden on the under 18 crowd. And another thing is the amateur radio is the only FCC license that can be granted to anybody under the age of 18. The other FCC licenses that are available, you need to be 18 years old or older. So amateur radio is a little bit unique in that we have minors and young children that are getting involved in the hobby, and we have got to make sure that we do everything we can to encourage that. And so the $50 fee would be detrimental for that. So those are the 3 points that the Section ARRL officials have agreed that we need to be making to the FCC, and not just make a general comment that you don't want to pay, because that's probably going to go in one ear and out the other. We need to give them some good concrete reasons to hopefully adjust that fee downward, where we won't have a $50 fee for amateur radio licenses. Plus the fact that, you can imagine if somebody studies, gets a technician license, that's $50. A few months later, they decide they want to upgrade to general, another $50, and then they want to upgrade to extra, another $50, and then they want a Vandy call. Before it's all said and done, you could rack up $200 in licensing fees just to get to where you want to go. So hopefully, if enough people will go online to the FCC website and file for public comment, it will make a difference in this situation and hopefully get that reduced some. But other than that, I really hate that I'm not able to be with everybody today in person, because I would like to have plenty of time to do question and answer. And so maybe I'll be able to come online to a future meeting. I spoke with Jim Snyder, our SEC, earlier this evening, and he is getting ready to be on his way to Ohio for a few days, and he was wanted to be here with everybody for the meeting. So he had suggested that sometime down the road we try to join in on one of the Zoom calls for your Saturday meetings, and give everybody in Williamson County a chance to ask questions of myself and of Jim. And hopefully, when this virus is over, we'll be able to go out to West Tennessee, because I would really like to sit down and meet everybody in person. I've really been aggravated this year that I've not been able to get out and do that. I've been to several of the Aries meetings here in East Tennessee and a couple in Middle Tennessee, but most groups aren't meeting in person, and they're still meeting on Zoom. And that makes it really tough to get out and be with everybody. But one of the things that has really impressed me throughout this pandemic is the fact that despite our inability to meet together in person, we've still been moving forward. Things have still been going on. Areas groups are still being active. Clubs are still being active, and they have found new ways to get together despite the pandemic. On the radio, on Zoom, clubs and areas groups are still working and still training and still growing and doing what they need to do to be successful, despite all the roadblocks that the pandemic has put in front of us. Just look at net participation in Tennessee. The Tennessee phone net has grown by leaps and bounds in the number of check-ins, especially since the coronavirus pandemic, because people are at home, but they're still staying in touch on the air. Don't know how it is in Middle Tennessee, but I know here around Knoxville, all the air activity has seen a sharp increase. Local net participation is up, and just the normal, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. drive time on the 2-meter repeaters, we've been seeing more activity, and so that's always good to get more people on the air, because in reality, that is a big portion of what the hobby is about, is for people to get on the air and have fun. And also for emergency communications, and you guys are doing a really great job with that. I've been very, very happy with what I've seen with a lot of the areas groups in Tennessee, but Williamson County, you guys really knock it out of the park. I'll be honest, and like I was saying at the very beginning, that is something that I think you should be proud of. You all have some great leadership there in Williamson County, and highly trained, dedicated people, and that's what it's all about. There's a lot of areas groups in Tennessee that can take a page out of your playbook and really run with it. So I won't keep you. I know you all have other things to do for your meeting today besides sit around and watch a video of me, but I really appreciate Ed Hudgens asking me to be here today. Cliff, you guys have really done a great job over there in West Tennessee. So appreciate the opportunity to speak to everybody. If you ever need anything from me, feel free to email me or give me a call anytime. KM4NYI at ARRL.org. Look me up on the Tennessee ARRL website. Give me a call, shoot me an email if you need anything. I'll be glad to help you any way I can. You guys have a great day, and 7-3.